What's going on, traders? Welcome back to the weekly Forex forecast. All right, so I'm going to be covering, potential setups going into the week, what we're looking at and certain trades that are on my watch list. All right, so starting with the DXY, the dollar index. You see, price has basically been pumping overall from these lows. All right, if you look, I covered this last week. Price has been pumping from this demand level low, right? So looking at it either on the weekly, also the daily, you can see when price closed above this structure last week, I was saying, okay, now I'm looking for price to actually retest at least 91.5 around back to the structure point, which it did now. And we're finding support. All right. So now this week, we could potentially see the bulls continue in the dollar. All right. So if we look at this, all right, as long as price holds above this low of support that it found, because you see it found support at the retest of the structure and it gave an impulsive move up. So now I would like to see price continue to the upside. So this is what we can see, potentially see on the dollar index. We can see price revisit this high that it made around 92.5. All right. So if price break through there, then we're going to see the dollar go even higher. All right. And this is going to have a direct impact on other dollar currencies. On other currencies paired up with the dollar. All right. So if we look at this, if we get a breakthrough there, if we get a breakthrough this forming a higher high, then we're probably going to see the dollar index come back towards 94 resistance. All right. So now let's look at Euro USD. So with Euro USD, let me see. I was saying last week, after we had a nice break and close below. Hold on one second. Why is it? Here we go. All right, so we were able to catch this buy. If you're in a private Discord, we were able to catch this buy. And I'm going to show you why. Because once price basically broke this level of structure, all right, we had a close down here. And I was looking for a correction back up to at least retest this previous structure support that it broke. All right. And if we look to the left, it was also previous structure resistance in the past. Okay, so typically after a break of structure like that, I like to see a retest and just a continuation to the downside. All right, so if we look at this on even doing a top down approach on the 4 hour, you see that we had a rejection from this level. All right, price came up, it sold off here. Right. So now looking at that, one or two things can happen. If we take this, price gave us the breakdown. All right, now price is pulling back, basically retesting this level or retesting this high. So we could potentially, it's only Sunday. I typically don't trade Sundays, but we could potentially see price continue to roll over right here. All right, this could be a correction to just continue. So if this starts to break down, then we could look to take a sell and continue that bearish pressure from this retest of previous structure to roll over back down towards this support low that it made around 1.83 area. Now, if price breaks through there, then my long-term target for this move, if structure continues to form a lower low right here, then I expect price to come right back down towards these support levels down here between roughly around 1.163 support. All right, possibly lower, but to that structure. So we'll be watching that. Now, if Euro decides to, go through and break this high that it made last week on the retest and potentially find support and continue up, then that's just meaning that, okay, we're going to have a deeper correction to the upside. But that doesn't mean that big bearish correction to the downside or sell-off isn't coming. Because if we look at this on the daily, we're still in the downtrend. So this could potentially just be coming up. If it breaks this high, then we could possibly see a pullback deeper. But if it does that, it could be just setting up It could be just setting up to form a deeper pullback for a lower high and then continue. All right, so we'll have to see, because this is your high, this is your lower high, right? This is your lower low within structure. So now this could either be a retest for continuation, or price can pull up higher, forming a deeper pullback and forming a lower high here to continue. All right, so we'll have to wait and see how that develops. Now, GU, so overall, you know, on the weekly, we had nice bearish pressure rejecting from the supply level, right? Right, so price started giving us strong rejections from that level. If we look at the daily chart, price had this strong impulsive close, bounced from this level of support, right? Now, before it rejected right here, we had a nice sell-off right here on a pullback, bounced down, and then price bounced up from support, from this level of support, and bounced up. So price came right back to this same level of sellers around here, and it sold off again to end last week. So I was able to catch this sell-off to end last week. And if you look at that, came up, basically formed this evening star, bearish rejection, and then sold off there. So that was an impulse. So now you see prices pulling back, okay? If price pulls back for the retest and still rejects this level and holds below resistance, we could see price roll back over. We could see price roll back over to the support level down here, all right? Roughly around 1.38 support or lower. Now, in order for us to go even lower, we need to see price break through this structure support or this demand level. We need to see a break of structure here. Sorry about that. So if we get a break of structure, there, then that's a sign that we're going to go even lower. With the break of that level, I would like to see a retest and then continuation to the downside. All right, possibly coming back to this level of support, roughly around 1.357, 1.358, roughly around there. Now, if price actually breaks above here, now, of course, that would invalidate any sales right now, and we might just have a deeper correction, right, before we then possibly see a rollover up there. So we just got to react to what price is showing us. All USD. All right, so looking at AU, this was also similar to what we were looking at with EU, also all CAD. Once I show all CAD, you'll see what I mean. So looking at the weekly overall, you know, we had a nice rejection from this level of supply up here, a nice rejection here. So now it's a lot going on with the dollar. You know, we got the stimulus getting passed, you know, which could be bad for the dollar long term. But all we can do is just trade what technicals are showing us, because things are already priced in. So we just react to price for the most part. So if we look at this, price had a nice impulsive breakdown, retest of this resistance, continuation down. All right. So if we look within structure, let's go to the 4-hour. You could clearly see the structure that it was showing us, with this being our high, this being our lower low breaking structure to the left, lower high on the retest, lower low here, breaking below this previous low. So now I was looking for, after this breakdown, I was looking for price to come back up for the retest, forming the lower high for potential continuation. So that's what we got in last week. Was able to catch a few pips on it, but you can see price had a rejection, and now it's retesting. So on this pullback, if price holds and rejects against resistance, we could potentially see price continue to roll down back to this low, possibly lower. So the first stop would be to actually come back to that support level. Now, with the break of that support, the next level we would look to hit is roughly around 0.76 support, or 0.758, around there. All right. So we have to see how price want to react around this level. But I like for this to hold. Now, if we get a break above here, all right, and price forms support above this structure, then we could see price pump to the upside, and that would invalidate any sales. All right. Now, looking at AUDCAD, AUDCAD was a great setup last week. All right. Looking at AUDCAD, it basically did pretty much the similar move as AU. we had a nice sell-off from the supply level. Looking left, if we look left on the weekly, you'll see a strong level of supply. All right, strong level of sellers up here. That's where we had a nice rejection from, impulsive move from that level. All right, so if we look, we had this three-wave move, or this ABC, where you got impulse, correction on the second wave, or the B, impulse, breakdown on a three-wave. All right, on the third wave, or the C. All right, so after seeing that, it's showing a structure is to the downside. Now we're looking for sales. So after seeing that, the most important level to pay attention to for a retest or a pullback and continuation is previous structure low, previous structure support of that lower low, or low within structure. And then price came up, rejected, formed that bearish flag, and continued, right? So you see price came here perfectly, rejected off, and just continued down. So you would look for, when you're trading in line with structure, you're going to see that happen a lot. You're going to see price retest previous low if you're in a downtrend, right? And it's the opposite if you're in the uptrend. You'll see price come back and retest like the previous, previous higher low structure, or the previous higher high structure. You'll see that. So now looking at AUDCAD, we could see price potentially correct first, but I'm still bearish on this, because if I look at the daily, nice bearish impulsive close, right? Breaking below, sorry about that, breaking below here, breaking below this structure low right there, right? Forming a lower low. So really, I would like to see this come back down. All right, if we look at all this structure to the left, I would like to see price come back down. Oh man, I'm not meaning to keep pressing that. It's taking me out the screen. But yeah, I would like to see price pull back down deeper. Now, if you look to the left, price technically did retest the wicks of this previous structure resistance. You know what I mean? But we still possibly could see price pull down deeper, roughly around 0.96-ish type area. All right, so looking at this, it don't show me any reasons to look for anything other than sell. So you can see a similar type move happen. Price could possibly correct. Could possibly just slightly pull back and then just continue from there. Or it could just continue to break down from the support. All right, because if price breaks that support, then that's definitely confirmation that you can expect price to go even lower. All right, so with the break of this, maybe it comes back and retests and then continue, but it's overall still bearish on AUDCAD. All right, GBPJPY. GBPJPY is still bullish. All right, if you look at the weekly, price is basically coming up to a level, strong level, supply level. All right, roughly anywhere between 152.5 to 153. All right, nice level of supply over here. All right, we're pushing towards that level. So seeing that, there's no reason to look for anything other than buys right now. Even though you're getting towards a level of potential reversal, there's no reason to look for the trade against the trend right now, because it's been like bullish for the past several weeks. You know what I mean? So looking at this right here, we could have one more wave up before any reversal. All right, because you see price basically broke above, forming higher highs. Right here, hold on. Price broke above here, forming higher highs, pulled back, retest, continued, right? Pull back, retest. And you see price is just retesting structure points. It retested this structure here, and continued. And then it also came down and retested this structure here, previous high, and continued. All right, so now looking at this, price could potentially pull back. It could potentially pull back like this and then give us one more wave up. But in order for me to look for a reversal, I would need to see a sharp sell-off, an impulsive type move, not a corrective correction down, but an impulse sharp sell. And then on the corrections or pullbacks, I will look for continuation. All right, but as of right now, if it just corrected, move down corrective, you could see one more wave up before you see any reversal. All right. And looking at USD CAD, so USD CAD is real bearish right now. You know what I mean? So understanding that, I was able to catch some of this sell. If we look at this on a weekly, this bearish candle is still a lot of bearish pressure right now. It's still a lot of bearish pressure. So it's really no reason. It's no reason to be looking for anything opposite right now. Even though we're at a breaker bounce level, we are at a breaker bounce level though, where price could reverse and price could hold support. All right, so we got to watch this level. But if price keep breaking, if price breaks this support, then you can expect price to keep going. Right now, it's looking like it's trying to, but you know, sometimes price does give false breakouts. But if it breaks this level, or the break of this level, I would like to see a retest. Now, price retest and holds resistance, then you could look for a continuation to the downside. All right, but if price forms nice bullish pressure support above this level, then we probably will get a wave up. All right, so that's USD CAD. Gold. Right now, dealing with gold, looking at the daily chart, price found support at this level of demand right here. Strong level of demand, price had a big move to the upside. All right, found that support. Now, looking at this previous daily candle, it gave us a bullish engulfing here when it found support, but then it pumped up and pulled back. Now on a daily, you see we got this pin bar right here. So this pin bar, this is showing me typically that the buyers are coming in, and you see gold is pumping. So really, I wouldn't be looking for any sales right now with price looking like this. Price is looking like it's getting set up for a deeper correction to the upside. So we could possibly see gold continue to move, have a move up from there. Now, once it gets to roughly around, if it pulls up and comes up roughly around this level of previous support, you know, this is a point of structure where you could see price roughly around here. You could see price come up here, retest here, and then reject for selling pressure. But if price was to keep pumping above here and have a nice bullish close above, then price would probably even go higher. All right, but with a rejection to this structure, I would look for potential sales. USDCHF. USDCHF is at an interesting point. Last week, I was actually looking for potential sales on USDCHF. If you look at this, look at this on a weekly chart, you can see that price has been moving in this uptrend overall. Price moving is uptrend, but if you look at the weekly chart, you can see price basically it formed this rejection candle, doji indecision, right above this level of supply, because right here we have a strong level of resistance right here. All right, so price pierced through that level. Not to just pierce through that level. You see we're starting to get some bearish pressure, but if you look at the daily, look at the level that it actually retested. It retested this previous level of this previous lower low within structure support. All right, it came up, retested that. On the daily, you see it formed a bearish engulfing, giving a nice rejection from that level. So that's signs of sellers coming in. All right, so if we go down to the 4-hour chart, you see we got an impulse from that level. All right, impulse, small pullback, and continue down. Now price is pulling back, retesting that same lower high. All right, so I was saying if price pulled up and held here, you know, we could see price continue down, at least back to the support. All right, but if price breaks through that support, we could see it go lower. And I would like to see it break through that support, because looking at the daily, I would like to see a correction back down, right? Overall, it's been bullish, but I would like to see a correction come back down towards 0.92 or 0.917, anywhere between 0.92 and 0.917. That would be a retest of this previous resistance structure. All right. It looks like we could possibly get that. All right. But we need price to hold there. And if price comes down and breaks this level, that's even confirmation we're going lower. Possibly we'll probably see price come back and retest here before we actually get that continuation down. All right. Let me see. Now looking at EURAUD. So EURAUD is at an interesting level. It's really at a breaker bounce type level. So if I just show you this real quick, let me get rid of some of this. Looking at this on a weekly, price is in a strong demand level. Looking to the left, always look left to go right. Last time price was in this range, we had strong buying pressure. If we look at up here on a weekly, when price first came down there, you had a nice rejection here. It formed this nice bullish rejection candle, right? So now price is retesting or pulling back after that impulse, right? Look at here on the daily chart, bullish engulfing. Buyers coming in, nice impulse up. Now price is correcting. It's possibly pulling back to form a double bottom. That's what it's looking like before giving a bigger move up. Because look, this is all impulse. Price is just made up of impulses and corrections. Excuse me. So now looking at this, I would like to see, it's looking like we're going to get one more wave down before price give us the bigger move to the upside for that continued, wave from this demand level. So I would look at something like this, because even you could see price broke below this structure low. All right. Now it's slightly retesting it. So we could see price actually give us this continued wave down. It either can just continue to roll over from here and give us the continued one more drop. And then from those lows, we could look for nice potential buys. All right. Or price can possibly want to pull back a little more first and then roll over. But as of now, overall, I'm expecting big buys from this demand zone. So it's either we're going to see one more wave and then a reversal to the upside, or price can correct a little more and then go, or it can just continue and just give us bullish impulse. But if it does that, then you just look to catch the pullbacks for continuation up. All right. But I'm leaning towards one more wave down and then a reversal from those lows. All right. That's EURAUD. EURCAD. All right. So looking at EURCAD real quick, let me clean this. All right. So overall, with EURCAD, looking at this, you can see price been in the downtrend clearly, right? And looking to the left, price broke this strong level of support right here. Seeing that, that's a confirm that we're going lower. So after breaking a structure level like that, I would like to see a retest. All right, so that's exactly what price gave. Price pulled down, broke support or broke demand, and then it gave you the retest right here for continuation. Right, that's textbook when it comes to market structure, price action and market structure. So you would have been looking to sell the breakdown of this retest for continuation. So now price formed a lower low. So I would look at this previous low of structure here for price to potentially come back and retest there. It could just keep dropping and then pull back a little bit, but typically in this type of scenario, I would like for price to come back, start to give bearish rejection from the retest of that previous low, and then give us continuation to the downside. So there's no reason to be looking for anything other than sales on EURCAD. And all of these pairs started playing out like that because we had CAD strength come in. You can also take a trend line here, seeing price pull up and reject from here would be nice for that continuation to the downside. CADJPY, if we're looking at CADJPY at first, I was anticipating price to sell off from up there. But understanding why it didn't is mainly because, you know, cash strength came in. So if we look at this on a weekly chart, and we can see price pumped above this level. Now, it broke this supply, small supply here to the left. All right, nice level of resistance. It broke above that. But if you look up here, price is now looking like it's pushing towards this supply rejection before you had this big sell-off. So now that's the next level. So we could have one more wave up. So if we go down to the daily, or the 4-hour rather, you see here that price is clearly in the uptrend. All right. Looking at this, price broke above this high for this extension, creating a higher high here. So if price pulls back, corrects, most likely it's going to correct. If it corrects, this correction is most likely going to be just a correction to continue up. All right, so if it correct, you can still take your counter trend line here, let it correct, and then look to trade the correction or continuation of that bullish flag, all right, in the direction. Because we could have one more move up towards anywhere between 82, let me see, anywhere between 88.5 or really anywhere between 88 and 89. All right. Is it can trade within that, but I will expect some type of deeper pull into the supply level before you finally get that bigger move to the downside. All right. All right, AUDJPY. Looking at AUDJPY, you see price. Price is also in an interesting level. Let me see. So understanding prices in this level now. Look left. Always look left to go right. You see price formed this high up here, right? Looking to the left. It formed this top, broke down, it broke this level of structure, breaking down, forming a lower low here. Price came up, retested it as resistance, and continued a big downtrend. So now price is basically roughly back at that level that it created that big sell and continuation. Now, if we go down to the daily, you see price basically had a nice rejection from that, and now it pulled back and corrected of that. So right now we're at an interesting level where this could potentially be a double top forming, but we would need this to hold. So this is how I would trade this. Take a trend line here. I would need to see a sharp break of this, a nice impulsive break of this trend line. And then on a pullback or correction, I would look for a continuation down. And on that continuation, I will look for price to come back down towards 82 support. All right. So I don't want to just chase tops and bottoms. I want to see confirmed correction or confirm impulsive break and holding resistance, right? Because this was a strong impulse. Now this is the correction. All right. So you don't want to chase here because there's a lot of liquidity up here. So you want to wait for price to give you more confirmation that it's going to continue in a desired direction. All right. So looking at GBPCAD, I'm going to end it with this one. GBPCAD was a nice setup as well. Like if we look at this on a weekly chart, you can see price pushed up in this level of supply, huge level of sellers up here, right? So if we zoom in, you see what price did. It gave you this bearish engulfing here on the weekly chart. Boom, bearish engulfing, strong indication that sellers is going to take over. So for the coming weeks, you can expect selling pressure. And this could be the start of a much bigger move, at least back down to this support, or probably even lower, really all the way back down to this support, all right? So this could be the start of a nice swing setup that you could just ride the wave. On a daily chart, nice impulsive close, right? Nice impulsive close. So right now it's showing you signs of just holding, all right? So you take that. So now if we go down to the 4-hour chart, look at structure. Structure is pretty clear. Like you can see price form this high, lower high, lower high. When it broke this structure support, it formed this lower low, came back and retested that as resistance, forming a lower high. Boom, came down here, gave you a lower low within structure. All right. So when you look at that, you can clearly see price is possibly going to pull up and retest. So right here within structure, you can see price is most likely. This is what I would like to see. I would like to see price basically pull up, retest previous support right here, and continue, right? That's what I want to see. That's what I want to see within that. Let's look at this. So you can even take a trend line right here. Or really, I will take it from this lower high to this lower high. And I would like for price to pull back and retest previous structure and hold. If I see a rejection there, with the rejection there, it will be a nice, rejection, stop loss. And I will look to take this back down towards, really all the way back down towards the support level down here, roughly down towards 1.72 support, anywhere between 1.722 and 1.720. So that would be a nice setup if we can get a correction, a deeper correction into that level. All right. So that's GBPCAD. If you're in a private Discord, I will keep you up to date. If I see any opportunities, for any trade setups or any signals, I will be sending it out. All right. So just stay tuned and stay tapped in, and let's catch some pips.